like Hebrew should. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hey, we still dealing with the judges. We're still dealing with the judges of Israel. We came down through quite a few of them here, and we have made it to Judge Gideon. How many guys? What all do you all know about Gideon? Anybody know anything that stands out about Gideon? Anything stands out? Yes.
He used music.
I'm sorry.
He used instruments of music.
Yes, he did. He did. He used instruments of music. He did. Anybody else? No? Okay. Okay. Well, Gideon was famous for a couple of things, right? The two things that stand out with me is, first of all, is when he, like we said, he burned down the Tower of Baal, which was his father's idol. Everybody know about that? No? All right. How many of you guys seen the movie 300? The movie 300 was based on Gideon. Y'all know that? Everybody knew that, right?
I know it's about Israelites. I ain't gonna say Gideon. Israelites.
So once you hear this, once we go down through here, you're gonna find out that this is where they got that movie 300 from. Okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm not gonna prolong you all. We're gonna try to stick with the topic. It's a long. It's according to how we do this. I don't want to go too long. I want to be moderately done. So we want to go ahead and get started here. We're going to start off with Judges 6 and 1. Judges 6 and 1.
Judges 6, verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High.
You see that? Have y'all noticed each time we pulled out a judge, we begin to deal with a judge, the first part of the reading has always been, and this is not the same verse. The verses are written upon each judge. Before each judge came, each played this is what was read in the beginning of each and every introduction to each judge. And it was written, it was saying that, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of our Elohim. What? Read.
And Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years.
So this particular time was a 7-year oppression. This particular time, so the Midianites had them for 7 years. So we remember the cycle. Anybody remember the cycle?
Yes.
What's the cycle? Can somebody give me the cycle?
Israel sins.
Mm-hmm.
Israel goes into captivity.
Yes.
Israel cries out to the Most High.
Right.
The Most High sends the deliverer.
Yes.
Israel does well.
Yes.
Israel lives righteously, and Israel then goes back into sin.
And all over again. That's the cycle. That's the cycle with Israel. And we are living a part of that cycle today. But he put us in, if you notice that we did 10-year, we did 8-year, I think we did like a 7-year, some intermittent year, but I think we did like a 20-year one. How about the 80? I'm talking that we've already been through. With the judges. So we did quite a few different ones, right? But he put us in one that was so long this time that we forgot our heritage. Isn't that something? He said, well, I'm pretty sure he's going to put you somewhere so long. That's like sending your kid to the corner, man. He keep coming out doing the same thing. You know? So he says, I'm going to put you in this corner this time. When you come out this corner this time, you're going to do the right thing. You know? It's basically like that is what's going on. So we're going to drop down to Judges 2. That second verse. Read that second verse. 6 and 2.
And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains, and caves, and strongholds.
Wait a minute. Did anybody catch that? When you first came into, when we first came into the knowledge of Israel, and we found out about Jacob and Esau, one of the first things we found out, and we began to say that was that Esau was a cave dweller. Isn't that what was said? It was like Israel had never been into a cave. They never lived in the mountains. But as you can see now, when we look down upon other nations, and we call them cave dwellers and everything, don't forget your forefathers dwelled in caves also. Don't forget that in the process of saying that about somebody else. Right? Because Israel has been through a lot. Israel has been through a lot. And according to Judges 6:2, it says, and the hand of the Midian prevailed against Israel. And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains, and caves, and strongholds. Isn't that something? Drop down to that 7th verse and go ahead.
And it came to pass.
And it came to pass,
when the children of Israel cried unto the Most High because of the Midianites.
Remember, we're at that point now where they're crying out. It started out that they did evil in the sight of the Most High. Now they're crying out again. Now they're crying out because they had to go from the protection of the Most High, living the best they could possibly live in that era, to living in caves. We have went from kings and queens in this hour down to the lowest form of a nation is the way we are treated in this day and time. Some of us have accepted it, and that's fine as long as I can get myself a place to stay. I get myself a house and a car, and I can wear decent clothes. I'm fine, but that is not fine for me. Because I have an inheritance through my father that I desire to have. I can't accept the least of the least, and I can't accept being the low of the low when I was designed to be the high of the high and have the greater of the greatest. We sell ourselves short when our minds are locked in to mediocre things of this earth. Whatever happened to separating ourselves from this world? We have not had that mind. Our mind is not, you can see the mind of how we are from about what we do. It's not what we say. Just look around. They gave one Israelite fame, and he sold his soul to Baal to be a movie star. It was very rare. You couldn't see him that often back when I was growing up. But today is many and more. They idolize the wrong thing. They idolize what they see and not what they know. Because our forefathers and what we have stood for and our heritage has been erased. We have been in bondage just that long. And that 9th verse says what? And I'm sorry, did you read the 8th verse?
No,
read the 8th verse.
And the Most High sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them,
what did he say?
Thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. Now
remember what was just said by the prophet that was just told this to the people of the era of Gideon. Keep going. Remember they said that then. Keep going.
And I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am Yahweh, your Elohim.
Read.
Fear not the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice.
But think about this. Every time we read this, just think about how many times you read this from as many lessons that we do. We're not going back to the same scripture, reading the same scripture over and over again. This has been said multiple times in multiple places because Israel has got caught in that circle multiple times doing the same thing. And each time they come out, he shows them, he talks about the power and the miracles that he poured off in Egypt. But what began to happen is that we forget what happened in Egypt because we wasn't there. Some of us can't learn by OPM or OPE. OPM is other people's mistakes. OPE is other people's experiences. But in this particular case, it's our own people's mistakes and experiences that we can't learn by because we won't pay close attention to it because we get to a point where we're comfortable the way we live today. We think we're okay. We got to believe that there's a better thing for us as a nation of people. We got to believe that. If you don't believe it, you might well go ahead and get like the prodigal son. Just do it until you're down with the hogs. Just do it until you don't have to it. Do it until you're down with the hogs and you muddy and you nasty and you just like the hogs. Just get on down in there. Don't have to do it. Go all the way. What verse you at? 10th verse?
11.
And read.
And there came an angel of Yahweh and sat under an oak which was in Ophrah,
which is the place, read,
that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite.
I had that word the other day. I was smoking with that word. They all found that compound. I'm on top of it. But read, we'll take it that way.
And his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites.
To hide it from who?
Hide it from the Midianites.
And read.
And the angel of the Most High appeared unto him and said unto him, the Lord is with thee.
They would hide one from the Midianites. But keep going. I'm sorry.
And said unto him, the Lord is with thee. Thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto them, O my Lord, if Yahweh be with us, why then is all this befallen us?
So wait a minute. Let's think about that. He said, an angel of the Most High appeared unto him and said unto him, he said, and he identified himself, right? And that said that he was with him. And then he told him that he was a mighty man of valor. What is that? What is that?
He's like a warrior.
Like a warrior, a soldier.
Yes, he was like a soldier, right? But did Gideon know this?
Nope.
In fact, watch what Gideon's behavior is, right? And basically we got some synonyms that's in bravery, courage, nerve, daring, fearless. You know, we see with boldness. There's so many different things that we can go with that, but we're not going to get too deep into that. And that 13th verse, we're going to give Brother Darren a break. Brother Rob, give me 13th verse.
All right, verse 13.
And Gideon said unto him.
And Gideon said unto him,
O my Adonai.
O my Adonai.
If Yahweh be with us.
But listen now, what Gideon's saying now. Gideon, they just told him that I'm with you. But Gideon said, if he's with us, what?
Why then is all this befallen us?
So why are we going through what we're going through? If these people running in and out of church on Sunday, if your family have brought you up going in and out on Sunday, the people have gave you all these different, people always, they come out and they do, I'm prophesying that this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and this is going to happen. Why are we still at the lowest of the low when it comes down to the nations of people on this earth? Why is it? If he's with us, right? Read.
And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not Yahweh bring us up from Egypt? But now Yahweh has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites.
Because they had did what? They did evil in his eye. One more time. But I can answer that question I asked a minute ago. Most of them pick up the truth, that they haven't got the real truth. A lot of us as a nation of people, we're still living that lie that changed our whole everything. When they erased our whole, heritage. A lot of us are still living that, and some people are comfortable with that, right? They're so comfortable with it, and the way they're doing it, that when a lot of us, we become Israelites, we see how they living, we don't get the full effect of being Israel. We just get the effect of being a little bit knowledgeable than them. But it's not the knowledge that's going to get you in there. It's the way you live. It's the way you live is going to change your life. Because he didn't say because they spoke things of evil in the eye of the Most High. It said because they did things that was evil in the eye of the Most High. It's not what you say out your mouth, it's what you do. You live right based on what you do. You don't live right based on what you say. And Israel need to get control of that and understand that as a people.
I guess I do want to add that, doing time and time again in the word, doing evil in his sight is breaking the covenant.
You got it.
It's not just because they were doing bad things specifically.
But there's a scale.
Well, it's definitely a scale.
There's a scale that identifies what's bad.
Yeah.
Right?
But yes, but also, when you're reading through it, it's specifically them breaking his law, statutes, commandments, and not abiding by his word. And like you said, they take it up a notch, following other nations and doing all kinds of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And they be so hard built, they not realize that the nations are taking advantage of their emotions. They know that we was created to worship him. That's why we do the best worship. That's why we get the best feelings. And when we know how to put heart-filled desires into worship, when we come down to worshiping him, we just got to worship the right God. The right Elohim. Because Sunday is set up that you worship the Son God. And we got to understand that. If we don't understand that Sunday is set up to worship the Son God, then we still got some research to do before we stop doing evil in the sight of the Most High. Because that's evil. The first thing he said, the first thing he told them to do is not to what? Not to put no other God before them. Each time we go through a lesson, but each king for each judge we've spoken of, the first thing it said was that they did evil in his eye, right? And then when that judge died off, when that judge go through and the Most High delivered them through this judge, they lived right up until the end. And then he died off, and they go right back into what they're doing because they're not living through their own faith. They're not living through their own understanding. They're not living through their own, how you say it?
Going back to Belial and Asheroth, all those different times, which are other Elohim, other small Elohim.
But we have to have a certain sense of loyalty to the Most High. If we're not loyal to what we're doing with the Most High, not based on friends, not based on family, not based on I like you, I don't like you, but based on your understanding with the Most High. That's it. That's all. Because can't nobody take you nowhere, can't nobody do nothing else for you. And when it comes down to that, they can do something earthly for you, but when it comes down to that last day, right? So we got to understand that it has to be done. You have to have a loyalty, some type of loyalty to the Most High. That's wait a minute, let me get it right. Loyalty to the covenant that we have with the Most High. Because it's that covenant that makes a difference. It makes a big difference. Which is a part of the law, which is a part of what? The sin. Because what is sin? Right. So a lot of people say, we pinpoint sin. Okay, but you're not keeping the law.
You're not loving them either, the way he said he wants to be loved.
Exactly. But a lot of people don't want us to know this. Why? Because if we know this, then we line up. The only way that they're greater than us as a nation of people is that they have to separate us from him. As long as we are separated from him, then we are not that strong nation of people that we're supposed to be, because it is him that makes us strong. We're going to find that out here once again by this particular judge. Would you stop off at Brother Robert?
Verse 14.
And read.
And Yahweh looked upon him and said,
Wait a minute, I'm right there. I gotta be in the wrong spot.
6:14.
Go ahead. And right, I got you. Read it.
Yahweh looked upon him and said,
Mm-hmm.
Go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of Midianites. Have not I sent you?
Ah, read.
And he said unto him,
Uh-huh.
O my Adonai,
Uh-huh.
wherewith shall I save Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh,
Manasseh.
and I am the least in my father's house.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh said unto him,
Mm-hmm.
Surely I will be with you, and you shall smite the Midianites as one man.
So now, be careful when you look up Gideon on the internet. Because if you look up Gideon on the internet, at some point and at some time, they're going to say that Gideon was rich. I ran into that. I'm telling you that. I'm not guessing. I'm telling you what I ran into. No, I'm just trying to, you know. But according to what we just said, he said that he was from a poor family of people, am I correct? But on the internet, they would tell you that he was rich, but the man wasn't rich. He had a lot of sons. Did that make him rich? But we got to understand that the Midianites were strong enough. They were a strong enough nation to oppress Israel. But we got to understand that the Most High has enough power. He has the power enough to set Israel free by the works of one man. Isn't that something? Mm-hmm. That just shows the power of the Most High, right?
I guess another thing, other thing I'd like to bring out is, you know, how, excuse me, from a human's perspective, I mean, based on this description, you know, Gideon looks like nothing spectacular that, you know, he does. Like we think about Samson as a judge, and we see the feats that Samson pulled off, you know. But you know, Deborah was a prophetess, you know what I'm saying, and a judge as well. And she was leading, you know, the nation. People, the nation gave her, you know, credence and, you know, believed in her. That wasn't the situation with Gideon. Just based on this description, he appeared to be like a nothing kind of guy, like a regular kind of guy. But that's not what the Most High saw.
And I like this guy. I'm talking about, brother just got to speak. I like this guy because let me tell you, sometimes what he do is he'll just say things that hit me off in the past, but this time he's right on the point. Right? He said it ahead of time, but this is the thing. Remember what he said when we get down to that 300. So Gideon had to pick men like himself. You see what I mean? So that's a great point, brother. Great point. Y'all hold on to what that brother just said, because when we get down that line, it's going to make a big difference. Yes, sister.
It just makes me think of the people today, how they follow these huge churches, and the man with the money and the Rolex and the suit. But here you have a humble servant saying he's poor and amassing. But we have a lot of respect of persons based on what they have.
Yes. Yes. And if Hebrews don't watch it, they'll get caught up into the same thing. They'll get caught up into the same thing. Do you judge a man by that? That's why it says that Elohim, he judges the heart of a man. He don't judge the possessions of a man. You know?
That's what we look at.
Yeah. That's why his ways are so much greater than ours. His ways are so much higher than ours. He's on such a different level. When you can get to that level, that you can get past that little crappy stuff like that, you well on your way. You are well on your way. When you can get past that, when you can actually choose the low road, when you have a choice to be on the high road. Isn't that something? Because there are people that have a choice to do different things, but they choose other ways to do it another way, just for the love they have of their Elohim. Israel get caught with making vain appearances. Is that important? No. Will he get you into the kingdom? No. Vain comes from what? It says that vain is a word that derives that spins off of pride. And pride comes before the fall. And we have to realize that when pride is in place, we are responsible for our own personal pride. If you have it, you are responsible for stripping it yourself. Nobody else is responsible for stripping pride off you except for you. It's just you. It's you. Now, integrity is another thing that we all can have. That's a great thing to have, is integrity. Integrity is a whole lot more than pride. Because that's what we should have, is integrity. We should take the place of what? Pride. It should. If you don't understand that, go to Psalms 26 and read that. You have to read it on your own time. Okay, we're going to try to get down through here. What were you at, Brother Robert?
Verse 17.
Verse 17. Verse 17.
6 and 17.
Read.
And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in your sight, then show me a sign that you talk with me.
He said, show me a sign that you talk with me. Read.
Depart not hence, I pray you, until I come unto you and bring forth my present and set it before you. And he said, I will tarry you until you come again.
Who is Gideon talking to?
To the Most High. Which is, an angel of the Most High.
He's talking to the angel of the Most High. Because you got to think about it. They have been in captivity one more time for what? They have been oppressed for 8 years at this time. They hadn't heard nothing from him. For 8 years. If this is the time that he come out to deliver them from the oppressions of the Midianites, right? And he chose Gideon to do this, then this is the time that he's coming before Gideon for this thing to get started off. Gideon want to make sure. Y'all know how big the army was of the Midianites? It was a great sum of people. So he wanted to make sure. A lot of people say he was in like what was that king name that Deborah had? Not king, the brother Barak. Yeah, a lot of people say he was in like Barak, but no, it's a little different than what Barak had done. It was a lot different from Barak. And read the 18th verse.
19.
The 19th verse, read it.
And Gideon went in and made ready a cake and matzo cakes on an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket. And he put the broth in a pot and brought it out unto him under the oak and presented it. So what did Gideon do? What did Gideon do through this whole? What did Gideon just do? Now he asked the angel to wait until I prepare a present. In other words, he just gave an offering to the Most High. That's what he did. He gave an offering to the Most High. That's what he did. He said, if you are who you are, wait a minute, let me give you an offering. Let me offer something up. If you are who you are, I want to offer up to you. You see that? Right? Brother Reggie, give me that 20th verse.
Verse 20. And Gideon went in.
Huh?
And Gideon went in. Correction. And the angel of Yahweh said unto him.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto him,
take the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so.
And he did so. What?
Then the angel of Yahweh put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes. And there rose up fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. Then the angel of Elohim departed out of his sight.
What did that say though? Right, he asked for a sign, he gave him a sign, but the other thing is that he made an offering to him But it says that, let me see my there here. Exactly. Exactly. So that shows that the Most High accepted his offering unto him. You see that? It was accepted. It's just like somebody would say, I can have a Christian tell me, oh, you're going to be blessed. And I said, okay. But I can have an Israelite brother say, man, you're going to be blessed and favored by the Most High. I'm going to say to him, I received that. Why would I tell him I received that and I told the other guy, okay. I don't know what God he's talking about. I don't want no blessing from anybody. Because, you know, Satan can bring some gifts around town, too. You know, I just don't want, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? No, nothing personal. Nothing personal. But we got to look at that, right? So we got to look at how in 21, it shows that what? That sacrifice was received. It was received by the Most High. Isn't that a great thing? I mean, for Gideon. I mean, for Israel at that time, the whole Israel, it was great. You know? Because you don't see a whole lot of times that you see in biblical wording that, or in a biblical sense of the Most High accepted or receiving. You see that? But in this case, that's what happened. Brother Chauncey, if you give me that 22nd verse.
22nd. 6 and 22.
6 and 22.
And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of the Elohim, Gideon said, Elias, O Elohim, O Yahweh Elohim, for because I have seen an angel of Elohim face to face.
Once in a lifetime thing. Keep going.
And Yahweh said unto him, Peace be unto thee. Fear not, thou shalt not die. Then Gideon built an altar there unto Elohim and called it Jehovah Shalom unto this day. It is yet an offering of the Abrazites.
You're pretty good with that.
I took off when you said you had that. I practiced it. 25. And it came to pass the same night that Yahweh said unto him, Take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it. And build an altar.
What did the bullocks have to do with it?
What did the bullocks have to do with it?
What did the bullocks have to do with tearing down?
Sacrifice? Sacrifice?
Not in this, not right in this area here, though. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, right, that Yahweh said unto him, said, Take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal. No? Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. Makes sense, right? That he's going to use the strength of the bull to tear down the altar. He's going to use the strength of the bull to tear down. You know, they're going to build their gods up real strong, man. They don't want, because if the God fall down in the wind, they say the wind God is better than your bell God, you know? You see? But wait a minute, this thing will get a little bit deeper than that. And where you at, my brother?
26.
And read.
And build an altar unto the Yahweh the Elohim upon the top of his rock, in the order placed, and take the second bullock and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove which thou shalt cut down. Then Gideon took 10 men of his servants, and he did as Elohim had said unto him. And so it was because he feared his father's household, and the men of the city that he could not do it by day. That he could not do it by day, that he did it by night. And when the men of the city arose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the grove was cut down that was by it, and the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. Keep on.
Sorry.
Give me the 29th verse.
Brother Kevin.
Yeah, I was about to say it's actually a few different things here. So first of all, we see that is all right. So yeah, they're in captivity by the Midianites, but we see his father, who is Israel, has taken on the Elohim, the lowercase of his captors.
A situation most of us in.
Right. So he's accepted he's accepted putting away his culture and accepted their culture, and it's okay. And not just his father, but the majority of the people, because Gideon is afraid.
Yes.
He's fearing the whole. He's fearing the
and
whole.
He's amongst his own people.
Right. So and that's everybody. So it's almost like today. So again, still a minority. We're still a minority in terms of like we look at the culture.
How can you be a minority and a majority at the same time?
Yeah. Well, a minority in terms of trying to follow actually follow the Most High versus what's commonly going on out there.
Right, but as a majority, as a nation of people, it was us because we lived amongst each other as a majority. But he became a minority when he took on the lifestyle of believing on the true Elohim and not worship Baal.
Right.
He became a minority when it came down to worshiping Baal. You see, so at that point, now he got to be afraid before he be obedient to the Most High and tear down this Baal statue and the groves and all that. He had to do it in a sneaky way. I mean, he did it in the middle of the night. I guess we can call that sneaky, I guess.
Yeah.
At least he did it. Right. He was obedient, wasn't he?
Absolutely. But this is the other thing is that I guess if we try to parallel that to what's going on with our lives right now.
Yes, sir.
That's friends and family.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's friends and family that are that's not doing what the Most High says, and Gideon is doing what the Most High says.
That's it. Now, I'll tell you what, I didn't get the phone call, but I know a lot of people got that phone call about coming by for Thanksgiving. A lot of people got that phone call. I didn't get it because I'm adamant about that. It's not going to happen, and I won't be getting one for Christmas either. But it's not going to happen. I will not get it. Don't break no gift either, because you're definitely not going to get one back. So don't save your money. Because it's not going to take me in poverty for next year. Spend all your money up there next year, you broke, can't pay your bills. Out of your mind. Stay out of their mind. Brother Kevin, give me the 29th verse. You read 29?
I was on it, buddy.
Oh, you already on?
Yeah, I was getting ready to.
Now I have you go ahead and read that 29.
And they said one to another. Who has done this thing?
Who has done this? Who has done this thing? Because look, it happened in the middle of the night. They woke up, this thing was tore down. Who did this? It's like you sneak in the house and tear down the Christmas tree while everybody's sleeping. Who tore down that tree? Blood everywhere, cracked all up, ripping all over the place. Somebody walked all through the gift paper, boxes up, walking down through there. Who tore down this tree?
Burnt up.
Go ahead.
And when they inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, the son of Joash, has done this thing.
And
then the men of the city said unto Joash, bring out your son, that he may die. Because he has cast down the altar of Baal, and because he has cut down the Asherah pole that was by it.
Now I'm going to tell you, Joash was a stand-up kind of father. What did he say?
And Joash said unto all that stood against him,
he said to everybody that came up and stood against him about that Baal altar, what?
Will you plead for Baal?
What you mean to tell me you going to stand up for Baal? Keep going.
Will you save him?
How you going to save Baal? You going to save Baal?
He that will plead for him, let him be put to death.
Now that's right. Anybody crazy enough that you're gonna plead or you gonna for bail, this supposed to be your God. And your God has been torn apart and you gonna stand for your God? You need to be put to death. Read.
Let him be put to death while it is yet morning.
Let's do it now. Don't wait till the evening. Don't even wait till noontime. Let's do this now.
If he be an Elohim, let him plead for himself.
Exactly. Because he was any kind of God, it wouldn't happen to him. How could a man tear down a God? If Gideon was able to tear your God down, that means that if anything, make Gideon your God. He beat yours. You see what I mean? What kind of this man said, let's kill him right now. I ain't wait till noon. Read. And that was Gideon's father. Read.
Let him plead for himself, because one has cast down his altar.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, on that day, he called him Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him.
Let Baal, right, let Baal deal with him.
Because he has thrown down his altar.
Because he's the one who destroyed the altar. If Baal any kind of God, let Baal deal with it. Read.
Then all the Midianites and the Amalekites, and the children of the east were gathered together, and went over and pitched in the valley of Jezreel. But the Ruach Yahuwah came upon Gideon.
But the Ruach came upon Gideon, and what?
And he blew a shofar.
And he did what?
And he blew a shofar.
He blew a shofar. And what?
And Abiezar was gathered after him.
And Abiezar was gathered after him. We keep running to this Abiezar. Who is Abiezar? Who is that? Abiezar, he's a descendant of Joseph, the son of Jacob. And he's the head of one of the families of Manasseh that settled west of the Jordan. Got a lot of scriptures to that. Anybody need to let me know? We're going to keep it moving. All right? All right, you ready, Brother Dan? Yeah. Judges 6 and 29. I'm sorry, Judges 6 and 35.
And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh.
And he sent messages what?
Throughout all Manasseh.
Throughout all Manasseh.
Who also was gathered after him. And he sent messengers unto Asher.
And who else?
And unto Zebulun.
And who else?
And unto Naphtali.
All these are part of 12 tribes, am I correct? Read.
And they came up to meet him.
And what?
And Gideon said unto God, if thou wilt save Israel by my hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside, then shall I know that thou wilt save Israel by my hand. And thou hast said.
They use the word floor, but actually it's on the ground. Because, dew comes out on the ground, right? It ain't like if you got a floor and you got a top on the top of it. No, you're not going to get no dew on this thing. So, he was saying that if he laid cotton down into the field, and the dew get only on the cotton and not the field, he said, well, the Most High sent me because he just did a miracle. The dew came down and it was going to cover all the grass and still that it got on the cotton. Right? And read.
And it was so. For he rose up early on the morrow, and thrust the fleece together, and wringed the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water.
He got a bowl full of water out of it, but keep going.
And Gideon said unto Yahweh, let not thy anger be hot against me, and I will speak but this once. Let me prove, I pray thee, but this once will with the fleece. Let it now be dry only upon the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew. And the Most High did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew on all the ground.
So it is reverse. So what would you say about this guy, y'all? Say it again.
sure.
You gotta make sure he was sent, right?
He was a little nervous. He was a little nervous and just wanted that assurance. You know? Again and again.
And you know what? Yeah, you say something? Your hands up. Okay. Because I said, you know, but you got to think about it. You know, even though the Most High assured him, he just wanted more assurance. You know, this is a serious thing. You're dealing with the Midianites. This is a great group of people. This is not like I'm going to fight, you know, 2 or 3 guys. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot. It's not going to be 200 or 300. You're talking about thousands of people we got to go deal with. You telling me that by my hand, I got to go deal with thousands of people, and I'm going to be the one to bring down thousands of people.
Yeah, like Mom said, he was a regular person. He wasn't a trained assassin.
Right, exactly.
I'm a regular Joe. I need to.
But he was a little bit below that because remember, he was poor.
And the lowest of his
From poor family.
the lowest of his own family too.
Right, and then he was the lowest of his family was poor, and he was even lower than he was the lowest one in the family, right? And we say, sister.
And he's new to this. He doesn't know the Most High. He didn't grow up serving the Most High.
Right.
So it's like all new to, okay, so, you know, he showed him the first sign and gave him the offer that he gave to him. And then he was like, okay, I'm running with it. But then he's like, okay, well, now that you let me do all this stuff, it's an even greater task. I need more assurance because I don't really know this guy. I'm still kind of like, I see your work, but I still need peace of mind.
He's the more motivation.
Right. Trying to build his faith up too.
It's like putting a young man off the street that never knew anything about being an Israelite and telling this guy, okay, you Israel. You know, the Most High has chosen you to bring Israel out of America. Oh, what? Who you like? And who you talking to? And who you say you was? Can you show me something better than that? Okay, you got the cotton wet. Now anything at you? Can you do something else?
Mama said like Moses. You know, Moses like, I can't even talk.
Yeah, Moses, you right. Moses was another one. Moses told me, I got slurred speech, man. I'll sit you over there to talk to Pharaoh. Oh yeah. Are we to go? We finished 40?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go into Judges 7. I want you to read 1 and 2, Brother Robert.
All right, Judges 7. Then
Jerubbaal,
who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him, rose up early and pitched beside Ahijah. So that the
pitched beside a well of Jurah, and what?
So that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh and the valley.
And what?
And Yahweh said unto Gideon, the people that are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands.
What?
Lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand has saved me.
Now do you see why to go back to what you were saying, brother? Somebody got their hand up? No? Oh. There was, you pointing at somebody. Oh. Okay. So, remember when you said about Gideon? How he was like the lowest of the low type of guy? So now look at it, right? The Most High didn't want to pick a boastful person. Right? He said that the Most High said in 2, he said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand have saved me. He didn't want some arrogant guy. He didn't want some boastful person, you know, because
Israel say we did.
yes, and that's one of the problems that Israel have is that Israel
They want some name for themselves. They want glory, man.
Yeah. They would get vain glory. They want that glory. You know what I mean? And even today, you have to be real careful about, how we tie ourselves into certain Israelites. Because are they going for their own glory? Are they self-glorifying? We got to think about that. Are they a humble type people? Is it something that somebody quick to say all praises to the Most High? I don't want any of it. Or is it one of those guys that say, or one of those sisters say, look what I've done? Some of them will get the Most High praise after they have praised themselves.
And also, Israel, of course, we know what the Most High thinks of Israel, but sometimes we put praise on Israel instead of putting praise on the Most High. And the Most High is who's behind us, not focused so much on Israel.
Right. And the word vault, I looked it up, and it says, boast about our praise, especially excessively, the very much vaunted information, superhighway. Then it says a synonym. It says boast about, brag about, make much, crow about, parade, or flaunt. When the Most High bless you or something, when you start to be, when you are so boastful about it, you used to want to look what I've done. This is me. I did this. And you give that more love and more honor than you give the Most High. Watch yourself. You ain't gonna have it long. It's going away. It's gonna move. Why? Because you put it before the Most High. That's why we should even love our children more than we love the Most High. We shouldn't. Because he don't like, and he can't use a boastful person. He can't use a person that brag about everything they do. Oh, I came in and I bought new curtains for the church. Was that something you're supposed to brag about? I give $30 every week. I ain't giving no more money now. It'll piss me off. Well, were you giving it to the people or were you giving it to the church? Who were you giving it to? And then what was your motive? If you were getting $25 for everybody, say you gave $25 every week, and you think you're going to hurt somebody by you not doing it? No, because these people living by the Most High. They ain't living by you. You do things from your heart. You don't do it about what you can do. He don't like boastful people. Everything I can do. Well, how do you know the Most High didn't bless you? Well, you can bless this place, or bless you when you can help a brother in privately. It could be a brother. It could be a sister. You help them in privately. You're, oh man, I bought everyone a coat.
Don't let your right hand know when the
all of new shoes. I did all that. And then you find around and you losing everything you got because you didn't do what the Most High told you to do. The Most High told you to help them in private. But you and you gotta be boastful. I did all this, put your pants. I did all that, man. My job's so good. You find out you won't have a job. He won't give you the opportunity to boast. Because he don't like a selfish people. When you find somebody that's so selfish and cheap, that everything they do, they gotta talk about it, the Most High will eat their butt alive. Watch what I tell you. If you know it, watch them. The Most High gonna eat their butt up. He's gonna eat them to a point that they're gonna be raw in butt and broke and without. Just watch them. The Most High don't like that. He don't like it.
It's just like Moses. He made a point to say Moses was the most meek person on the planet.
That's it.
And then if you look at King Saul, who he anointed, but he told Samuel what to tell the people Saul was going to do. Which is Saul was all about Saul.
That was.
You know what I mean?
Saul did what Saul wanted to do. He told Saul to kill everything in the out there. When you go down there Canaan, you kill all those people. Saul let him live. He brought back a king and kill all his spoils. He bringing back goats and lambs and everything. Man, what's my man name? Samuel went down through this. What's his name? Samuel. Went down through there, man, and and he put the hammer down. He did what Saul was supposed to do right before Saul. Why? Because he was obedient to the Most High. So we gotta be, if you look at it, when you find one that's real boastful about something, I did this, I did that, this and that, and this and that, that's the very one not to follow. That's the very one not to tag yourself to. Because when you do, you're going to fall just like him. You're going to go down right with him. Because the Most High is not an I person. It's only him. He don't want I people. He wants people that's for Israel. For all as a brother. That's why the Most High was when Yahshua himself, when he came here, he was able to give 2 laws and say the 10 hang on the 2. And when he said you love your brother, right? Because when you love your brother, you're not going to fool his wife. You love your brother, you're not going to lie on your brother. You love your brother, you're not going to say nasty things about your brother. You're not going to always want to put yourself above your brother. You want to be even with your brother. You want to be, what he don't know, I had a discussion with people about stuff that I don't even agree with the Bible. I said, look, man, I'm learnable, I'm teachable. I don't have mind learning. Me personally, I want to know. If you got something that I don't have, I want it, give it to me. But when you're so stern, you lose a lot. You fall a lot. Who are we at and who reading? 4? 3? No, 3? Go ahead and complete it.
Now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid.
He got all, remember, what's his name? Gideon called all those people from 3 tribes. He called a brother from 3 tribes. But now he's just saying, now he's now proclaiming the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, what?
Let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead.
Let him depart, just let him go back to Mount Gilead and what?
And then return of the people 20 and 2,000. And there remained 10,000.
So there was 32,000 people. 22 of the 32 went back. So now he only have what? 10. Right? Keep going, my brother.
And Yahweh said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many.
He says still too many. Now do y'all know that the 22,000 they had was barely enough to fight this war man to man. But now the Most High removed 20 of those. Now you're down to 10,000. So you outmanned already, right? And then he come back and where you at, my brother? You in that 5th verse, right? And he brought down the people what? 4th verse, okay, what?
And he said, the people are yet too many.
Bring
them down into the water.
Bring them down into the water, what?
And I will try them for you there, and it shall be. That of whom I say unto you, this shall go with you. The same shall go with you. And whomsoever I say unto you, this shall not go with you. The same shall not go.
What?
So he brought down the people into the water. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, everyone that laps of the water with his tongue, as a dog laps, him shall you set by himself. Likewise, everyone that bows down upon his knees to drink, and the number of them that lap, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water.
That's where he got that 300 from in that movie 300. This is where that came from.
And Yahweh said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver you Midianites into your hand.
So now, the guys that's lapped like a dog, don't that tell you something? Remember how Gideon was? Gideon came from the Lord of his family. He came from the Lord and Lord. He wasn't a real prideful guy. And plus, the Most High needed somebody that he knew that these people were going to run. He knew he needed somebody that's going to go after. They got to chase him. They ain't going to have time to sit down and have tea and then continue to follow these guys. They ain't going to sit down and have a great dinner. We'll catch them up we'll catch them over there at Mount Everest. They didn't have all that going on. He needs somebody going to pursue these guys and be at it. He needs somebody that's going to be able to that there's going to be, at any given time, you know, he might be running through the water and got to drink some water and keep going. Because they got to get this done. He didn't need no prissy people. He needed those rough, rugged guys that was going to make this thing happen. And they were more like Gideon. They weren't a bunch of prideful guys. Right? And if you look at it, he separated those men. He separated the boastful men from the guys that lapped like a dog. And you think about it, Matthew 22 and 14, it says what? For many are called, but a few are chosen. Even in this hour, many are called in this hour, but a few are chosen in this hour. A few are chosen, but many are called. Many are called. It's many people know who they are. It's many people that pursues the Sabbath. Many of them pursue it, but how many actually, being honest with themselves, keep it? How many actually keep it continuously, back to back, not one day off, back to back? I don't mean because you're not here. I mean you cannot be here and keep the Sabbath. Being here ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm saying, how many people actually keep the Sabbath? I don't mean being in somebody's class. I mean actually living the law of the Sabbath. Because that is a personal thing that you have to do. It's not an excusable thing that you do. It's something that you don't build the Sabbath around man. You deal with man around the Sabbath. That's the way the Sabbath is kept. Many are called to keep the Sabbath, but there are few of them that are chosen to do it. And those that are chosen are loyal to the Sabbath. They are loyal to the Most High. They are loyal to the law. They are loyal to the covenant. But you're always going to find that one that's going to try to make the ones that are loyal seem like they're not loyal. You're always going to find that one going to make the ones that try to make the ones that are loyal like they're not what they are. Why? Because if I can tear you down, it's going to build me up. And that's how Israel would tear Israel down in order to build themselves up, to make themselves look so great and so honorable. But deep down inside, Israel, the ones that are doing that, they know they're a bunch of crap. They know they're not what they are. But that's what Israel do. Keep your eyes on Israel as a whole, as a whole. Not one guy, not two guys, as a whole. You keep your eyes on Israel. More or less, keep your eyes on yourself. Where we at?
Verse 8.
And read.
So the people took victuals in their hand.
They took victuals, what are the victuals? Food, keep going.
And their chauffeurs.
And the chauffeurs. Some people out don't say trumpets, keep going.
And he sent all the rest of Israel, every man to his tent. And retained those 300 men. And the host of Gideon was beneath him in the valley.
And the host was in the valley. Go ahead.
And it came to pass the same night.
But now remember, the Most High said, I delivered them into your hand. He put them in a valley right down there where he can go get them. The best place to attack from is from an attack from high down low. That's the best way to attack if you want to attack anything. Right? Keep going.
Then Yahweh said unto him, Arise, get you down into the host, for I have delivered it into your hand.
Go.
But if you fear to go down, go with thru, your servant, down to the host, and you shall hear what they say. And afterward shall your hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went he down with thru, his servant, unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and the children of the east lay alone in the valley like grasshoppers for multitude. And their camels were without number, as the sand by the seaside for multitude.
Now you can see, according to what the Most High said to him, Gideon was scared. Because he said, if you fearful, then you take your servant and you go down there. He took his servant and went down. Does that mean he was fearful? Am I correct? Read that 13th verse.
And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along.
That the tent lay along and read.
And his fellow answered and said, this is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand has Elohim delivered Midian and all the hosts. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned in the host of Israel and said, arise, for Yahweh has delivered into your hand the host of Midian.
So think about it. Right? I remember when I was young, and people would be sitting around, right? And they start telling you these scary stories. They would keep telling you scary stories, right? But at first, when they start telling you those scary stories, you was okay. You was fine. But they tell you these scary stories until a point that it got into your mind about these scary things, and you was really scared inside. And then you hear noise, and everybody jump. Are the ones that the scary story affected jumps, right? It's the same thing. The Most High had already placed, he said he had delivered them already. These people were so afraid of Gideon because the Most High already set things up. He's already delivered them. They were so afraid of them that watch what happens. God. I'm sorry, let's move forward. Brother Charles, give us Judges 7 and 16.
Judges 7 and 16.
Yes, sir.
And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies. And he put a trumpet in every man's hand, and with empty pitchers, and lamps within the pitchers.
Watch how he worked this. Read.
And he said unto them, look on me, and do likewise. And behold, when I come to outside of the camp, it shall be that as I do, so shall ye do.
Read.
When I blow with a trumpet, and I, all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, the sword of Yahweh of Gideon and of Gideon. So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, and they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers that were in their hand.
Can you imagine that? Y'all know how loud it is when Brother Trumpet, not Brother Trumpet, when Brother Chauncey blow the trumpet? Can you know, y'all think there was 100 guys right here blowing the trumpet at the same time? How loud that would be? So you got 100 sounds off, boom. Another 100 sound off, boom. Another 100 sound off, boom. Then you got everybody break a pitcher. Bling, 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 everybody break the pitcher at the same time, right? Can you imagine these people's in a valley? They've been delivered to them in a valley. And then they had a light inside the pitcher. Y'all saw that? They had a light in the pitcher. So as they went early in the morning, so that when the people looked up, they saw the light in the pitcher. So they know they are surrounded by these guys. But the Most High does this with 300 guys. You see that? They see the light. Then they hear the noise. Boom! All right. Then they say that the Most High, the sword of the Most High, and Gideon basically is at hand. When they say that, because they already afraid of Gideon, because the man just told them in the dream, told them they were afraid of Gideon. When all of this happened, that put every man at fear. Right? It was 300 guys. It was done in the dark. Right? Just think about the power and the understanding of the Most High. The Most High set this up. That's why he said, I don't need all these guys. I don't need but 300.
They're being awakened by all this. You know
yes. And they caught them in between the first and second watch or something like that. Right. I think we're going to find out. Maybe I jumped too soon.
Get another middle watch of things.
Where we at, my brother?
Verse 20.
Read.
And the 3 company blew the trumpet and brake the pitchers and held the lamps in their left hand and the trumpets in their right hand to blow withal. They cried, the sword of Elohim and of Gideon. And they stood every man in his place round about the camp. And in all the host ran and cried and fled. And the 300 blew the trumpets. And Elohim set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the hosts. And the host filled to Bethlehem.
They fled to Bethlehem. I can't say the word.
Bethlehem.
I just said nothing. That worse. I'm gonna worse.
Yeah, you messed me up. And
I'm cool with you what you said. You did
and Zeretha, and to the border of Abel.
Where you at?
Abel Mela unto Tabel, Tabith, and the men of Israel.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Okay. 23. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali.
Out of Naphtali,
And out of Asher.
Tribe of Asher,
And out of Manasseh.
And the tribe of Manasseh.
And pursued after the Midianites.
And Gideon.
And Gideon sent messengers throughout all Mount Ephraim, saying, come down against the Midianites and take before them the waters until Bethlehem and Jordan. Then the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and took the waters unto Bethlehem and Jordan, and then took 2 princes of the Midianites, Orab and Zeb, and they slew Orab upon the rock. Orab and Zeb they slew at the winepress of Zeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Orab and Zeb to Gideon on the other side of Jordan.
They took their heads off. They wanted confirmation back then. You know, that you really killed these guys. They were pretending. They couldn't take a picture. You know what I mean? You could take a picture on your cell phone. Click, I got it. Let me show it to you.
Yeah, it is.
Right. They had to take the whole head back. They couldn't take the hand. They had to take the head back to show them, right? And that's something. So now there's a lot more situations that occurred, right, in chapter 8. Now I recommend you guys read, chapter 8, but we're going to close out between 11 and 23. Brother Darren, we just started at 11. 8 and 11.
8 verse 11.
Yes, sir.
And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in the tents of east of Noah and Jogbaha, and smote the host, for the host was secure.
Read.
And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the hosts.
Read.
And Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from battle before the sun was up.
Read.
And caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him, and he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 70 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth, and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in the hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary? And he took the elders of the city, and the thorns of the wilderness, and the briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. And he beat down the tower of Penuel, and slew the men of the city.
So now a lot of this took place because when they was at war, and they stopped by these cities refused to give his men food. They was tired and worried they needed food. And when they wouldn't feed him, he said, look, once I catch this king and kill him, I'm coming back, I'm gonna get you. And this is what happened. A lot of them just kind of like saying, you might want to read 8. I just jumped down because I don't want to give a whole lot of details. I figured I'd run a little low when I got here. Let's keep on, my brother. What verse?
18.
Mm-hmm.
Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, what manner of men were they whom we slew at Tabor?
Mm-hmm.
And they answered, as thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, they were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As Yahweh liveth, if ye had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said unto Jether, his firstborn, up and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth.
He was yet young. He was there. He had no heart to do it. Keep on.
Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, rise thou, and fall upon us. For as the man is, so is his strength.
Mm-hmm.
And Gideon arose, and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks.
Wow. Read.
Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon,
Rule
thou over us, both thou and thy son and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian.
And Gideon said,
unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. Yahweh shall rule over you.
Right. That just shows the kind of guy that Gideon was. Gideon could have got the praise. Gideon could have got the honor. Gideon could have been a real high spoken person. But the Most High chose him to be exactly what he was. He chose him to be a man of low degree. A man, not a man that is prideful. He didn't choose him to be a prideful man. He chose a man that would give the glory to him. You see that? He at the end of the day, he did all that killing. He killed the last two kings himself. And then Israel came out and said, Israel as a whole said, rule over us. And after you finish ruling over, let your sons rule over us. He said, no, I won't rule over you, nor my sons rule over you. Only the Most High will rule over you. That's a humble man, putting the Most High first. He knew that he was chosen to deliver Israel from the hands of the Mennonites, and that's all. And that's all he done. And the question is today is, what he did, what the Most High called him to do. Many are called, a few are chosen. But what has the Most High actually chose for you to do? What have he chose for you to do? And are you responsible enough? Can you put pride aside? Can you put down personal honor aside to do exactly what the Most High has set before you to do for him? For Israel through him. We got to make that decision ourselves. Can't nobody make that decision for you. But I suggest pride was not it. Being prideful is not it. Being selfish is not it. It's not it. We got to make good decisions among ourselves, or I'm saying among ourselves personally, not among ourselves, but personal decisions has to be made in order for us to honor the Most High. Because at the last end of the moment, at the end of the day, he makes the final decision on everything. Everybody has a role, everybody been called for something. It's based on what we do, whether we're chosen. I want to thank each and every one of you for your time, and may the Most High be able to give a blessing to the reading of the word.